There are several types of interview formats for medicine. MMIs, which are also known as multiple minute interviews, are perhaps the most common type of interview format for medicine in the UK. In this video, we'll be discussing what MMIs are, what stations may consist of, and how to well prepare for them. So an invite for an interview for medicine in the UK can sometimes only be a week or so before your actual interview. And with the amount of preparation you can do for an interview, sometimes that might not be enough. So during my application year, firstly I did some general interview revision. This consisted of making a document of general interview questions such as, why do you want to be a doctor? On top of that, I also made a reflective document on my work experience, and for that I used the situation, task, action, response system, which is what I discovered during the Lancaster Award at Lancaster University. Importantly, with this document I made sure that my answers were bullet pointed rather than actual paragraphs. This is to make sure that I didn't come across as over-scripted in my answers in the actual interview. On top of this, I also made a reflective document on my work experience. With this, I included stuff such as what I did on my work experience. I also documented difficult situations and I reflected on them as well. Doing a work experience form is not only useful for your interview prep, it can also be useful for additional forms that your university may want you to complete. For example, Keele and Sunderland medical schools require you to fill a role and responsibilities form, and this proved helpful for when I had to write mine. Some more important interview prep includes looking at core NHS values and looking at good medical practice from the GMC. It's also important to keep up to date on medical affairs, as you may be questioned on any of these during your interview. So once you've been invited to an interview, firstly it's important to revisit that university's website. This is so you can re-familiarise yourself with the university itself and also what they might want. And also by looking at the university's website, you may be able to get an insight on what the stations may entail. After receiving an interview invite, I started to rehearse my answers. So firstly, I started to rehearse answers for my general questions document. Of course, these weren't in-depth answers, they were more bullet pointing, and I also recorded these answers to review them. I also did mock interviews with friends both online and in person in preparation for my interview. And I even went through the effort of doing some of these over Teams to provide a realistic simulation of my actual interview. Importantly, after doing these, I made sure that I requested feedback to identify what my strengths and weaknesses were during that mock interview. I hope this video was helpful and I'll see you all next week.